going back in the 60s, when I was a young boy, yeah, or young man really, 16, 17, uh, in the fruit market, been in the fruit market for some time, and I'm learning to fight, yeah. I'm fighting, well, 24/7, I'm always fighting in there. I love a fight, you know what I mean? I'm learning the game. Cracknell's learning how to fight, and I don't mind fighting a greengrocers, anybody, you know what I mean? Because I'm into it. I'm a young boy, plenty of testosterone, and I want it, yeah. And because I was earning so much money, I was go down to Richmond, and there was a shop called the Ivy Shop, yeah. I don't know if anybody remembers the Ivy Shop in Richmond, and they used to sell the best American clothes ever, yeah. All the top brand Sherman shirts, all the nice Ivy brogues, the Ivy paint, everything. All the Staples trousers, all the suits, everything. I loved it, man. I loved it in there. You know, I was always going up there. A couple hundred pound in them days was a lot of money. You know what I mean? And I used to, what I wanted, I used to have tonic Murray suits, blue tonic, gold tonic, green tonic. I used to love tonic Murray suits. And I used to like trilby hats as well. We used to wear trilby hats there. And we was like little sods. And I've got to say, yeah, I was the business mate. I used to fight everybody. I was the governor of in my age group. Yeah, I was, or older than me. I used to fight men as well in the clubs and all that. I didn't care for monkeys, mate. I always put myself down as being the business. You know what I mean? When we used to go out, we was all like real bad boys. You know what I mean? Fighting all the time. And I remember once, right, I bought myself a Prince of Wales checks 3-piece suit, yeah. It was a red Prince of Wales check. It was a business that I got out of the Ivy Shop, yeah. And they took my measurements and all that and sent it off to America. Seriously, yeah. And it come back. It was quite expensive, yeah. So I had a pair of Ivy brogues, a nice Ben Sherman shirt, and a nice red tie, black Ben Sherman shirt and a red tie. And it looked at the business, honestly, red and black tie, yeah. It was honestly, I looked the part, yeah. But I was a right little gangster, you know what I mean? 16, 17, gangster, mate, you know. And we used to go to all the clubs. And years ago, not years ago, I mean years ago, this is not I'm 16, 17, 16 now, 15, 16, 17, something like that. I used to go down the boathouse and I was always cause trouble in the boathouse. Never stop fighting. You got Big Molly Bush there. He used to always tell me off, behave yourself, Ray, no problems tonight, you know what I mean? But I'd always fight. I've had about 4 or 5 fights downstairs. This particular time I had a fight with a bouncer. He chinned me. I said get outside, and I kicked him up the groin, and I run, and I run, yeah. But honestly, fighting there was I loved it. It was what I did. And I remember going to the boathouse. I used to fight with the guys called. Johnny Wells is dead now. Rest in peace, John. I used to fight with Johnny Wells. It was me, Johnny Wells, Bobby Collins, Wacker Collins, not Philip because Philip was too young then. Colin Cracknell, all about 9 of us, all fruit porters, yeah, going to the boathouse, and we'd have murders in there. Absolutely murders. We were the bosses, mate. We were the governors. And I could have a fight. And I was really learning to fight. I loved it, yeah. And I remember one time we went to the castle. Anybody remember the castle, Richmond? Yeah, man, I went there and had a good time. Had a good night there. Prince Wells check suit on, black shirt, this red and black tie, something like that. It was a nice tie and looked the part, yeah. Really looked like a gangster. And a trilby hat, yeah. Sort of go, and the birds were all over us because I was a right good looking guy, you know, jet black hair. But anyway, couldn't see so much when I had the hat on, but. And always I was dancing, and the girls loved me. The girls really loved me, yeah. And we went out from the boathouse, and right outside the boathouse, so remember the Wimpy bars. But I want about the Wimpy bars in them days. The actual Wimpy was just taste not like today. They taste horrible, but in them days they was really good. So I also had a couple of cheeseburgers and a strawberry milkshake. I just been in the club. You imagine, can't you? Just being in the club. I don't drink anyway, but being in the club, fighting, coming out there, having a milkshake and a couple of cheeseburgers. And I remember this time, I might have said it years ago, I don't know. I remember this time I've come out and there was this little firm of guys, 3 or 4 of them, and said to me, "Who do you think you are, a gangster?" I said, "You know, mate, I know I'm a gangster." You know what I mean? And they took the piss out of me. It was just Al Capone's and all that, and getting the bit out of hand. And I was with Bobby Collins and Wacker Collins. There's about 8 of us there, yeah, 9 of us there. And I was standing by these guys, and all of a sudden Bobby say, "Leave him. If I sort this out," I stood in the middle of these guys, mate, and I smashed them to pieces. Yeah, honestly, I was such an handful, mate. I was a proper handful. Like anyway, we walked off after we done what we done. And these geezers got in the car, and they come at me like a lunatic. They drove the car at me and straight into a big shop window, smashed the window. They reversed up and got down the road. Well, Bobby Collins, he has the old 3.8, the old Jaguars, yeah, the old fashioned ones, and it was the bollocks, mate, and it was so fast. He souped it up. His gears was all loose in it, and we chased these guys. We lost them in around Ham somewhere, and you know, and we was on it, mate. We was on it, and going down all the clubs, mate. And we was honestly, I was terrible. I was really, really terrible, mate. And Chiswick High Street, we used to go down Chiswick High Street, and there was a big pub there. I forget the name of it now. It had a water fountain in it, yeah. And Colin Cracknell, I remember this time, Colin. He got a bottle of fairy liquid, yeah. I went for the top of the fountain and poured it in. It all bubbles everywhere. And then we had these people giving us grief, these bouncers, so-called bouncers. Me and Colin bashed them to death, yeah. And do you know what? I put myself out as being the governor of Acton, yeah. I mean, you say that as a young kid, yeah. But me and Nicky Smith, you know, I mean, me and him have got history, yeah. Me and him have got history. We've had so many fights. We have, you know, this all started over a woman, you know what I mean? Me talking to his girl, and he's out, you know, it's like one of the things that happened. Me talking to his girlfriend, she really liked me, and he didn't like the fact that I was talking to her. And Nicky was a bit of a nutcase. And the first fight we had was in a youth centre, and I've been doing some weights. All I knew to do in there was curls. That's all I used to do, curls. I had massive arms as a kid, yeah. And I was coming the thing, and he jumps out from this staircase and done me across with a bottle. That's the first time me and Nicky started fighting, that first time. And from that time, we've had, I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe even more than that, fights together. It always ends with me knocking him out. it always used to end me bashing him up. Without a shadow of a doubt, always. It's just what it is, yeah, the way it ended. But it used to hurt me. It used to always hurt me. It hit me across a bit of iron bar, lumps of lead, bottles, smashed all my kneecaps with steel toe caps on, you know. But I wound up, because he couldn't fight. He was just dangerous, mate. He was just dangerous. He wouldn't have a punch up with you, fisty, but he would walk around with iron bars down his trousers, little iron bars and all that. Yeah, he'd always smash me to pieces, but I'd always just win. You know what I mean? I always to come back and win all the time. Yeah, them days, man. Them days were the best days of my life as a kid. Come on, you remember when you're 16, 17, 15, 16, 17, and you know, like, and I was a right fucker, and I used to love money. I used to always go and get money, mate. I was money mad, and always get a pound note. No matter, it seemed funny in them days, yeah. You could come out of your house and trip over a tenner, or trip over, you know, there wasn't many scores about. It was all fivers and tenners, you know. £10 note, £10 note, £5 note, you know what I mean? Not a fight, you know, it's yeah, man. And pockets full of change. You had your half a crowns, your 2 bobs, your shillings, and all that, your sixpences, footpences, you know, and your 5. But you had so much change in your pocket, walk around clanging, you know. But me as a fighter, mate, I could really have it as a kid, yeah. And I started going down to London Transport Boxing Club, and went in there, and there was this guy Jock. He used to do all the gloves. He had the gloves on the table. He was the one in charge of everything. I think he's a little bit gay, him, you know, the way he was going with his young boys. But a nice fella, mate. A nice guy. He helps us, all us kids out. Well, not in that way, but he helps all that. And when I went in there was a guy called Brian Whelan and George Whelan. Brian was a pro. Georgie, I think, was an ex-pro. Who run the club. That was their club. I went in there, and I started. When I first started, I was really an handful anyway. You know, I was an handful. I was always fighting, so I knew how to box. You know, and when I got the mittens on and it in the bag and all that, and it wasn't so easy. Wow, the wrist would go and all that, and I just strengthened my wrist up. But whacking that bag, mate, I was getting into the bag. And there was a black guy there, I think his name Garth, was. And he was about 5'10", as wide as what he was tall. And he could have a right fight. He was knocking everybody out. All these shows he went to. Jeff Tresham, good fighter. There were some fighters in London Transport when I was there as a kid that could really have it, yeah. But I loved it. I loved fighting, and I loved getting in the ring to have a spar around. Garth used to smash me all around the gaff, and he could really bang, you know. He could really bang and really hurt me, yeah. George really liked me for the way I was. He said that I had a lot of bottle, and I've had quite a few shows, and I was getting quite good, you know. And to fight and knock people out, you know, and everybody loves you. They all love me, yeah. And you know, we go on shows, and yeah, it's one of the things that I got. My poor old mum had more knife and forks than anything. Because after the shows, used to get all clocks, knife and forks and things like that, you know. And I used to get all that rather than get a cup. You could have I mean, my mate Terry's got about 5 of my cups in his office, yeah, that I'll give him that I found in my flat, yeah. So, I mean, I used to get more knife and forks and spoons and cups and saucers than anything from my mum, yeah. And I used to love it, man. And then George Whelan said to me, "Come on, we got to start going down the pro gyms, me and you," because he had big hopes of me, mate. And so Bobby Neal, he had big hopes of me, and you know, I thought myself, going down the pro gyms, Haverstock Hill, going down there, and you know, and then when I went down there was, I forget his name, George Daly. George Daly was he was in there. He was the guy who run the gym, you know, and go in there and come out there and bag work, sparring work, you know, skipping and floor work. I was up for it, mate. And I used to get there every Sunday morning, Saturday, Sunday mornings. Loved it, yeah. And when I started going down there, I was always seeing Billy Head. Billy Head was always there. Pat McCann was always there. There was a few fighters in there, good fighters. And then Bugner come in there a few times. I sparred with Bugner. He nearly knocked my head off. Yeah. He took liberties with me, really, but it doesn't matter. You got to learn, haven't you? Billy Head, because Billy Head was always there, I was to spar with Billy Head quite a lot, Bill. Good fighter. He learnt me a lot, Bill. I've put him on his arse, Bill. You know, sparring with Bill. But you know, that's one of the things. All fighters make mistakes. You know, all fighters make mistakes. And I was very good at turning people. I used to turn them by the elbows, you know, bank crash. I was quite good at that, you know. And yeah, with Bugner, I held my own with Bugner, but he took liberties with me, mate. He smashed me a bit round the gap, about a bit. But that's part of the learning curve, isn't it? And then I went, because my mate Leslie McIntyre, black guy, I was always in the back, not Beckett. I didn't use the Beckett much. Haverstock Hill was our gym, Noble Art, yeah. Loved that gym, loved that pro gym. It was, and George Daly, the guy that ran it, old boy, fantastic. Learnt me a lot, you know. He learnt me a lot. I loved it going in the atmosphere, you know what I mean? And Bobby Neal, I said to George, look, you know, George, can I have him? George said, no, he's not up for that yet. And I said, why, George? He said, no, you're not up for it yet, you know what I mean? And you know, and then I went to Highgate, the Wellington Highgate, George Francis, Mickey Duff. Yeah, I went down there. Go down there with my mate Leslie McIntyre. He's the one who got me down. He said, come on, let's go down there. He was a professional fighter. He took me down there. George Francis loved me, man. He loved me, taught me a lot, George Francis. I've got in, I've got in there with a few people. Do you know what? I forget things. You shouldn't forget names like John Conti and all that because he was there. I used to get in with quite a lot of them pros and spar with them, yeah, and they learnt me a lot. I used to get hurt a bit. Of course, that's what it's about, isn't it? Learning curve, isn't it? But I loved that Wellington Highgate. Georgie Francis, gentleman. He was a gentleman. Mickey Duff. But when they come out of my house, I was really, really good. Honestly, I was a fantastic boxer. It's so much as a boxer, I was more of a banger. I could really bang and take a punch, yeah. Not so much. Really, shouldn't be taking punches, but I was good taking. I could take a punch, and that's why I think George Francis liked me with Mickey Duff. They come out of my house on one Sunday morning. Mickey Duff, Roy Francis, and a couple of other people come out of my house, and they wanted me to turn pro. You know, I was a fool. I wasn't there. I was with a girl, young belt, all the testosterone. All you want to do is get all the young girls and enjoy your life, yeah. And my mum said he's not here. He's out. So Mickey Duff, George Francis was really upset about it. I'm not quite sure if they brought Harry Levine with him. I'm not quite sure. Jarvis, there was three of them that come to my house to turn pro. I was mad. I should have done, mate. I was good. I've been in with some good people, mate. You know what I mean? And John L. Gardner was around at the same time I was around, down at Averstock Hill, Highgate, and you know, and young. I never got in a ring with John L. Gardner. Never got him. I used to see him train. He was a fit guy, man. He was so fit, John L. Gardner. Really, really fit. He had more sponsors than you knew. I mean, he had sponsorship like you wouldn't believe. You know what I mean? That's what it was all about. If you're a fighter, having good sponsorship. You've got good sponsorship as an amateur. You haven't got to work. You know what I mean? So you can concentrate on your fighting. And you know, I was with Leslie. Me and Leslie, as I say, went down the Wellington pub, and you know, when we went down there, man, not fucking hell. I was never ever stopped thieving with Leslie McIntyre. We was thieving every day, going out thieving, and I was getting good money as then, £200, £300 a day, you know, just going out thieving. And I thought to myself, what am I doing? Getting in the boxing ring, getting smashed to pieces, you know, and all this. But I was a fool. I should have stuck at it, you know what I mean, mate, and gone somewhere in my life. Look at John L. Gardner, you know, and he was a good fighter, mate. But he was not much better. Yeah, I was not much better. I mean, sorry, he was a lot better than me, but I was coming up, you know. You know, and I could have been as good as or as better. To me, personally, is what I thought, yeah. And I loved the game, man. I loved fighting. And we used to go on the train. We used to go on the train, come home sometimes, and George used to take me there. And I used to go there to train myself. And I used to tie my gloves on the outside of the bag. It's the kids, isn't it? To let people know that I'm fighting, you know what I mean? Yeah. And do you know what? I used to work so hard, right, to keep myself fit for the fighting. You know, I used to work. We had big jobs, where we'd go out the back garden and dig a patio out there. Yeah, massive thing out there, and the earth might be like 8 foot high, 9 foot high, and you have to dig all that out, you know, and put it in skips, and it goes in baskets, and you've got to run through the flat and up the stairs, run up the stairs, put it in a skip. Mate, you're doing that all day long, and I'm on about baskets on your shoulders, a lot of weight with mud and clay, and you run up the stairs, you know, like 8 flights of stairs, you know, put it in the skip, run back down again, and all day long you're doing that, you know, and filling up the skip. It takes some time, mate. To fill up the skip in a day, you're going some, you know what I mean? There was 2 of us, you know, but to fill it up, you're going some, mate, you know, in baskets, scratch. And I loved it. All run up and down the stairs. It was my game to keep myself fit. And then, I mean, I don't like scaffolding. I'm quite frightened of heights. I didn't work. I didn't do it as a living. I did for a little while. SGBs. I worked there. We used to do this band and plates and all this shit. And anyway, but when I first got into the scaffolding as such, bit helping my mate out, a guy called Pat Sweet, yeah. Pat Sweet was my pal, one of the best scaffolders you could ever imagine, mate. He was fearless. I seen him up in the air, hemping 21s up 300 foot in the air, mate, hemping it up on one scaffold board, hemping them up and plonk, putting them in, mate. And yeah, the guy was phenomenally strong. I'll see him do loading bays up there, 200 foot, mate, and no sweat. He said to me one day, come out. I went, no way, I ain't getting out there. He went, come out here. Mate, I put 2 boards out. I went out there about 200 foot up. Do you know what? My whole legs went jellified. He pushed me like that, Pat, but he held me, you know what I mean? And that was the last time that I ever went out on the scaffolding. I was good labour. I'd give it up. I'd give it out, get it there. But never no good as a fixer. Nah, I couldn't do that. No, it was good labour, but I couldn't do the fixing game. You know, standing up there, no, I couldn't do it. I was good hemper. I went to a place in Hounslow. I was doing a job for my pal, and you know, I've already said about this. I had some trouble with some guys, but I used to work on this building site, only 2-3 story flats, and I used to be the hod carrier. I was hodding, you know, using the hod carrying up and down the ladders, just to keep myself fit. I loved it, yeah. Doing all the bricks, I'd load all the scaffolding out in the morning, yeah, for the bricklayers. You know, get there on a Saturday morning, load it all out for Monday, yeah. Load everything out, and even come in on Sunday and get it all done. And there was these 2 scaffolders, yeah, and I had this thing about lifting scaffolding, like 21s, pressing them in my hands, you know, and I had a bit of a fight with these scaffolders, took the right piss out of me, mate, and they bashed me up bad, but not bad, but they bashed me up, yeah, and I went away. I'll come back, mate. I was trained like a lunatic. I come back and I bashed them up myself. I bashed the 2 of them up, but I went away and done a bit of training for them. I thought, right, you can bash me up now, mate. But when I went away and I trained for them, I trained for 2 weeks for these people. 2 weeks, mate, and they was still there, you know, because it's a big job. Yeah, mate. I just called them down the scaffolding, come down. And I bashed them up bad. It was... I trained, mate. I went down the gym, down the pro gym, and I trained on a bag, and I sparred, and I made some skipping. I was skipping for long times, and plenty of floor work, going for runs, all over Hampstead Heath, all round there. Yeah, mate, I was like, thought, there's no way I'm letting these guys beat me up. No way, you know. And when I come back, mate, I bashed them up something terrible. I just bashed them up. You know, I really bashed them up. Fuck the scaffolders, you know what I mean? Thinking I'm an idiot, yeah? Yeah, man, it bashed me up. Yeah, it bashed me up. And I thought, yeah, well, You can get away with it the first time, but you definitely ain't getting away the second time, mate. Because I'm one of them people, you might bash me up the first time, but believe me, I'm gonna come back and really hurt you. I ain't gonna let you do that. And I ain't a geezer that goes around picking up knives and hammers and things like that. I will fucking smash you to pieces with my fist. You know what I mean? I will punish you. I will just smash you to pieces, punish you, make you beg for mercy. That's me, mate. That's what, I trained for that. And I thought, yeah, I loved it. I loved the fighting. And it's only through Connie Cracknell in the fruit market that taught me the game, yeah? Where we used to fight on the cobbles and properly fight on the cobbles. And, to take a beating, to learn, yeah, I don't mind. I take a beating 7 days a week, but as long as I'm learning all the time. Yeah, that was me, mate. And I wouldn't let no one take the piss out of me, mate. But as a kid, I just, like you loved it. In the market, mate, you ain't going to get a better place than a fruit market, or any market, mate. Meat market, fish market, any market you go to, you are going to learn how to fight. Because there's always someone in the market that wants to fight you, always. And in the fruit market where I was, Brentford Market, everybody in there was a fighter. And you could fight 7 days a week, 24/7 if you wanted to, And after a while, the greengrocers and that get to know you, yeah? And get to know you love a little fight. I know I've said this before. There was a guy in there called Peter Parker. And he was called Piggy Parker because he had a pig farm. I've been down there a few times. He had these great big pigs. And good-looking guy. But my sister, Diana, she was very, very pretty, my sister. And she liked horses. She loved horses. Peter Parker, he loved horses too. And they got together, all lovey-dovey. And he was with my sister and he made her pregnant. And he fucked my sister off. He forgot that I'm a fighter and I'm in the fruit market and I ain't gonna let it happen, mate. And he fucked my sister off. And I remember when I went home one day and my sister was breaking her heart, And I went up and said, "What's up?" She said, "That Peter Parker, this, that Peter Parker, that." I went fucking mad. I went mad, mate. I was up early in the morning down at the fruit market. I think I wasn't working there. I don't know if I was working. I don't know if I was working there. I don't know what I was doing, but anyway, went to the market. He was on this. A company that just do oranges and them fruits and lemons and banana and all them sort of things, yeah. And they just unloaded this lorry full of oranges, the big 3-tier oranges, big nutting them up, yeah. And this geezer was like a good-looking guy. I thought he could have a fight, mate. And and I thought to myself, well, mate, you better have a fight, because I went in there. I never really said nothing to him. Bang, crash. I hit him on the chin, mate. I swear to God, I never stopped hitting him. I must have broke his jaw, must have fractured his nose, must have just smashed him to bits. I could hear his bones crackling when I was hitting him. I was smashing him around the ribs, everything. How dare he do that to my sister? You know what I mean? Think he can just fuck her off. Who does he think he is? You know what I mean? I swear to God, mate, I bashed him up so bad that he had to go to like a place. I forget where you go now. Where you have to go away and just relax. I forget what they call them places, but he had to go there after the hospital. They sent him there rehab. Was it like a rehab cave? I don't know what it is. They had to go there and just get better. Mate, I smashed him. He would never again do anything like that to a woman, mate. I smashed him. And after what I'd done to him, and so many greengrocers and porters were there for me doing it, and they was all trying to stop me from doing what I was doing to him, you know. But yeah, I ain't gonna be stopped, mate. I ain't gonna be stopped. You know what I mean? Yeah. And after that, I had so much respect from greengrocers and porters, but I was always still fighting with Colin and a guy called Terry Woods. Me and Terry Woods. There's this guy called Blonde Terry Woods. He worked for Dean's in the clothes part in the market. He worked in there, and he got me a job with him on Dean's, yeah. And I loved Dean's. I loved it, man. It was a proper company, potatoes, everything. And and Terry Woods, mate, this geezer Terry Woods, could really have a row. I swear, I know people say to me on my comments, "Oh, everybody you talk about can have a fight," but listen, everybody in the food market can. They can, except Peter Parker, the geezer messed up, but he can have a fight. But I made sure that I got in first. I didn't warn him I was coming or nothing, yeah? I just walked in, bang, and that was it. Once you hit them on the chin, and they're going to go when I am. A couple of guys that I have had fights with ain't gone, but 9 times out of 10, if I hit you on the chin with a left hook or right hand, you're going. And my best punch was a right cross left hook. You was in trouble, mate. You was seeing so much shit. And Bobby Collins said to me one day, "Do you know what? There's no one I know would get in the phone box with you, Ray, to have a fight. There's no one I know would get in the phone box and fight with you." Because I was a phone box fighter, mate. If I got in close with you, you was in trouble. You was in trouble, mate. You know what I mean? And so they called me the phone box fighter. Yeah. Oh, Bobby Collins, mate. Me and Bobby Collins, we go back a long way. Bobby Collins, Racker Collins, and all the Collinses. I love them people, mate. And I used to go out with Sister Janet. She was actually stunning, Janet. I went out with her for a bit of time. I went down the other week. I went down Chiswick High Street because Brentford Market was just not far from Chiswick High Street. All us porters used to walk down Chiswick High Street, yeah. And for the girls, and I went down there last week and a couple of stalls in there, and I went, "Oh, how you going?" They went, "Who are you, mate?" And I said to them, "No," I said, "Where are you, mate?" "How are you?" You know what I mean? He said, "I loved it, mate. I loved it. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, who are you?" I fucking must have changed a lot, yeah. But who are you? And I said, "All right, mate. We was there when you fought Colin Cracknell at Acton Town Hall and all that, you know. That was a good time, mate. Acton Town Hall, when I had my own boxing shows, yeah, my own promotions, with Bob Coleman. And my name is Ray Hill. His name was Coleman. Bob Coleman, so we called it Hillman Promotions. Yeah, good name, wasn't it? And we had 2 big promotions there, but it never really kicked off. They stopped it. The council stopped it, but that was my time. My time to be a promoter, and we had some good fights there, mate. Some good fights, and I loved it. You know, me and Colin Cracknell, we had a fight there. Colin was an handful. Colin Cracknell. When I say an handful, mate, to me personally, I thought Colin could bash up Lenny McLean and Roy Shaw quite easy. Not together, but in the ring, he'd bash him up, mate. He was a proper geezer, mate, Colin Cracknell, that could have a right fight. I know, maybe 6, 7 in the fruit market that you all want to have a row with. No, maybe there's a bit more than that. Maybe there's more, you know. But you got, you know, people in there that proper people. Ginger Carlisle, mate, could have a really bad fight. His thing, he was terrible at hitting people when they was drinking a pint mug, you know, the big mugs. He put it up to there, wallop, he'd smash it, he'd smash your faces, mate. But he could have a right fight. Colin was always weary. Colin Cracknell was always weary, Ginger Carlisle. Derek Pearce, another powerful man, Derek Pearce. He's on the growers. Derek, massive arms. I used to go running most days. Go to handball boxing clubs most times. Me and him sparring handball boxing club. And do you know what's funny about fighting boxing? Is when you go to professional gyms, yeah, and you spar with professional fighters, and you may be doing that 3 or 4 months, you know, when you come back without letting people know where you've been and what you've done, this, that, and the other, when you come back to the amateurs, and you start getting in the ring with amateurs and sparring with them, they got no chance. And you just smash them up, mate. And Garth, the black guy in London Transport, when George Williams was taking me to the pro gyms, and George one day said to me, well, you've got to start going yourself. I can't be doing it all the time, mate, you know what I mean? I'm busy. So I went, yeah, okay. And I started going to pro gyms all the time. And about 4 or 5 months, regular, always doing it. I was still down the transport, but I'm not really going down the transport much. George was getting me fights, but I'm not really going down there much. I didn't know I was still there, you know. And I went down there one day and went down there, was mucking about on the bag and on the ball. Remember the speed balls? Not the speed ball, the ball on the big stands and the big base. You know, everyone used to knock the base over, yeah. And anyway, and the Scottish guy that run it, he said, do you want to spar away? I went, yeah. Do you want to get me Garth? I went, yeah, sweet. And Garth's always knocked me about, always good fighter, Garth, you know what I mean? Heavyweight, powerful black guy, really good. And I got in the ring with him, mate, and it's the first time that I smashed him up. I bashed him up bad. I was so hard at punching. I bashed him up, you know, and he give in, yeah. And he come to me when I was in the dressing room. He come to me in the dressing room. I thought he was going to row me, you know what I mean? He went, mate. He said, where's it coming from? Where's all that come from? I said, well, I was in the pro gyms, yeah, the professional gyms. And honestly, there's a guy called Tommy Keane. Tommy Keane has got a big auctions. He's had Chiswick auctions. He was on television all the time, Tommy Keane. And he's got one now in Oxfordshire. And he used to box down on the transport too. And he said to me one day, he went, do you know what? They all said to me, Ray, that you was the next White Hope. You'd be the next White Hope. I was a good fighter, you know. I was a good fighter, a good fighter. I wasn't afraid. I'd get in. I wasn't afraid to get in and have a fight with anybody in a boxing ring. You know, it's a learning curve. You've got to learn. It doesn't matter about getting knocked out, mate, or getting hurt. You got a learning curve, you know. And you know, the fruit market was the best place to learn. You know, and people in there. Do you know, it's a different life, man. It's a different hard life, the fruit market. You know, you walk running around with barrows and all that Christmas trees. You know, you're seeing people there, Les Stevens, Johnny Frankums, all the travellers in there. They're all fighting. They've all got respect for you. I even trained down the Beckett. Me and Leslie Stevens had a few rounds. He bashed me up down the Beckett, Les Stevens. He taught me lessons, Les Stevens. Good fighter, mate, Les. He taught me a lot, Les. He taught me a lot. He only 2 rounds, but those 2 rounds I did with Les Stevens taught me a lot, yeah? Taught me a lot. I was a good fighter anyway, but he taught me a lot in them little 2 rounds, what I was doing wrong, yeah? Yeah, like Les Stevens, mate, but rest in peace, Les Stevens died. Johnny Frankham's still about. My mate, Joe Smith, a travelling guy, he's got a podcast called Kushti. Got Joe Smith, mate. You should watch his podcast, Kushti. Yeah, he's very good. He talks. He's a traveller. He talks. I mean, you know, like, but he knows his boxing. He knows his boxing inside out.
he's a nice man, mate. I really like Joe Smith, and I go down his scrapyard now and again to talk to him, and I always go down there to want to interview him, but he will come. He's gonna have an interview one day. Me and him have an interview in the gym on the bags and all that mucking about, and just have a nice interview. We've done a few parties and that with him. Joe Smith, check him out, mate. Joe Smith, a nice guy, nice geezer. His one's called Kushti. He gets carried away sometimes. He's like me, but he's a gentleman. He's a proper gentleman. I like Joe, mate. He's a good boxer. His son's massive, mate. His son is massive. I think Joe Smith's brother is huge, big man as well. Yeah, I like Joe, mate. Good fighter. All them people, all them fighters. I remember, like the Beckett. Even when I was going down, I love the Beckett. Jimmy Tibbet, mate. Great trainer, Jimmy Tibbet. Fantastic trainer. And I used to go down to Beckett a lot. And, to go down there and see people like Colombo. His name's Steve Richards, actually. But to see people like Colombo. Colombo, I should imagine, is one of the highest trainers that I've ever seen. He would train he would do floor workout for an hour. And he was Hungarian hard man. I see him spar with Warshaw in the Beckett. Warshaw thought he could take liberties with him, and he just showed him that he couldn't. He just showed Roy that he couldn't. He was just knocking Roy around the ring, and he's an ex-karate. He teaches kids karate, so he knows the game inside out. You know what I mean? I've seen him spar with loads of people. I mean, the best one I've ever done down there and spar with is Lloyd Waltham, black guy. Give me the biggest concussion I've ever had in my life, Lloyd. He whacked me so hard that it gave me a concussion. And I wound up at the Elephant Castle station thinking I lived in Acton, and I lived in Lewisham and left the car outside the Beckett. That's how much concussion I had. When I got to the station, at the Elephant Castle station, I went, what am I doing here? And I had to walk all the way back, get in my car. And even driving the car when you got concussion, you get lost a little bit, yeah? You still lose it. And I lost it. And I was living in Lewisham, I couldn't really find my way where I am, Brookbank Road, I was trying to find it. Who was the geezer that I fought? A geezer called Dave Strong with Jimmy Tibbet. Went down there to fight this guy Dave Strong, and who was in the corner? The decathlon, black decathlon, Daley Thompson was in the corner with him, and this Dave Strong, I think it was Dave Strong, and I might be mistaken. I think Dave Strong, and this geezer, man, he smashed me for 8 rounds. I was on bombers. I wish I shouldn't have took. I'm not making excuses. Well, I am really. But this Dave Strong, he bashed me up. He smashed me all round the ring and blood. When I went home, I bashed him up. We had a fight in the showers. I had a fight and bashed him up. But that's beside the point. What you do, we had a right fight in the showers. But Dave Strong, Daley Thompson in his corner, he bashed me up in the ring. Bashed me up so bad that when I went home and I woke up in the morning, there was blood pouring out my ears and out my eyes. He done some serious damage to my head, mate. But being the person that I was, I didn't want to go nowhere and get it looked at. Jimmy Tibbet the next day, see it, he said, come on, take the hospital. I said, no, I ain't going to the hospital, Jim. Like that. And then he said, look, I said, look, just take me to Blackheath and I want to go for a run. I went to Blackheath and went to Dulwich and come back from Dulwich and run all the way home to Brookbank Road, Lewisham, where I lived, yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, and I love my training. I was always running, always doing floor workout, press-ups like a lunatic. Let me tell you about press-ups. I know I'm going mad on this. Things are all coming back to me, right? when I was in Maidstone, yeah, I've done the marathon, half marathon with big boots on. You know, I mean, I come second last, but I still done it, half marathon, running around the inside of the prison for, you know, me, Ricky Curley. Ricky Curley in the end had to leave me because I was going slow because I had boots on, yeah. And I've done it. I mean, you know, for about an hour and something, you know, but it's still good for me with boots on. You know what I mean? And me and him done. I'm not quite sure. I'd love to get a paper on it. You know, when I done it in the 80s, but Ricky Curley, he done sit-ups, about 1,000 sit-ups in an hour, something like that, and I done 1,000 press-ups in an hour. Yeah, seriously. You know, like I was, you know, like really, really strong. And me and Ricky Curley go back a long way with Bleedy Blundell and Pat Adams and all that fighting, all that stupidness, you know. And, you know, Vicky Dart, nice guy, mate. Vic was a powerhouse, Vicky Dart. I see Vicky Dart used to do sit-ups with a 45 kilo weight, and I see him do two 45 kilo weights sit-ups. You try that, mate. Try that. It's bad enough doing a sit-up with about 45 pound weights, you know. Yeah, he's powerful man, Vicky Dart. He had a big, powerful tummy. You could hit that with a sledgehammer and never ever move it. Never move it. He'd never move, mate. He was a good, strong man, Vicky Dart. I like Vic. Good kickboxer. Yeah, Vic, nice fella, mate. Some good people in Maidstone when I was there. Good people, most of them from big other nicks. Maidstone was a curved place where you was going to get out from. Yeah, usually it was a place where you could get your DCAT, and it's a curve to get out. You know, it was a bit where you got out from Maidstone prison myself. Yeah. Listen, not to go on and on and on, but anyway, Bang Bang Rail. Just please like and subscribe. I don't know what I've said. I don't know what I'm put on my comment. I don't know what I'm going to put on my thing here. I ain't got a clue what I'm doing. Look at me, look at me. I don't know what I'm saying. Take care, nice one.